Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron, I hope you're having a great day in Jesus. I want us to look today at the Palimpsest Theory and Codex Vaticanus, because there's mystery of where Codex Vaticanus comes from. Some think it was one of the 50 Bibles that the Emperor Constantine had made, along with Sinaiticus. Sinaiticus is pretty much proven to be a fraud now. Anybody that does objective study in that. But let's look at this Palimpsest Theory, and this is on textusreceptusbibles.com, textusreceptusbibles.com, which I really like this website. So the Palimpsest Theory and Codex Vaticanus. Now what a palimpsest is, this is something, vellum's very expensive. It's like deer hide or something. I've got some vellum in there it's hundreds of years old. It lasts for ages. And so if something was really bad or corrupt, they would scrape it and then rewrite over it. So that's what a palimpsest is. So the Palimpsest Theory, this is on textusreceptusbibles.com, explains where Codex Vaticanus came from. Most of us know the Codex Vaticanus is the old manuscript that provides the majority of the text for many modern Bibles, such as the NIV, ESV, RSV, NASB, LSB, etc. But before the Palimpsest Theory, nobody really knew what its origins were before it was cataloged in the Vatican Library in 1481. It just kind of appears, if it's supposed to be the best manuscript ever, why wasn't the Vulgate based on it? You know, how did it just come to be? So before we go any further, we must understand the nature of a palimpsest. The word palimpsest is derived from the ancient Greek word palimpestos, a word that literally means scraped clean and ready to be used again. Putting it simply, a palimpsest is a manuscript that's had the text scraped and or washed from the pages so that the codex can be used again to write a new text. Why would anyone want to create a palimpsest? The answer is cost, and we've already talked about that, about vellum. So it's got a picture on the top here, and I'll just read that. It's a real good picture. The picture of this post is of Codex Vaticanus, which is a Byzantine Greek text and a Greek unseal, or all caps, manuscript of the Gospels. The Codex, or book, now resides in Wolfenbüttel, Germany, and was one of the manuscripts that came from the fall of Constantinople. That's important to remember. It escaped the possession of one of the Byzantine refugees fleeing. It escaped in the possession of one of the Byzantine refugees fleeing the violence of the Islamic Ottoman Turks. The text of Vaticanus is dated to the 12th century, the 1100s. However, the underlying palimpsest text is dated paleographically to the 6th century, the 500s, several hundred years before. This is very important because there's a 600-year gap between the different texts, and proved that old codices were stored and preserved over extremely long periods so it could be revived as palimpsest. The Codex Vaticanus was one of those unused manuscripts stored away in Constantinople, awaiting to be made into a palimpsest because it was so bad. But when Constantinople fell in 1453, it was taken by a Byzantine refugee to Rome, was subsequently sold to Cardinal Bessarion. We know it was in his possession because the minuscule supplement has a text similar to one of Bessarion's manuscripts. Cardinal Bessarion then sold the Codex to the Vatican Library in 1475. The Codex was cataloged 6 years later under the name Codex Vaticanus. Remember when Erasmus, they wanted him to use it, he was like, no thank you. Now, this article is just a theory. And yet this theory has far more integrity and truth than the Lucian recension theory invented by Westcott and Hort, which they used to advance the Alexandrian text. Westcott and Hort Lucian recension theory was swallowed hook, line, and sinker by the establishment scholars of the day and rewrote the history of the Bible. Lest you think that couldn't happen, around the same time, the theory of evolution was swallowed hook, line, and sinker as well. Check out our other videos here. God bless you on a variety of subjects. And we've been kind of on traditional Bible text here recently. Love you. God bless. Bye-bye.